LA is diverse. That's what brings people in. That's what I like about it here. If I had the choice, I'd love to live in LA like forever.
I think people at the top of the list always talk about the weather, and I would say the culmination of individuals that either migrate or are actually descendants from Southern California brings a unique culture.
Well, did you know the largest concentration of foster youth in California is in Los Angeles? Why not have one of the leading agencies in the nation serve an underrepresented population in the highest concentrated area for foster youth? First Place for Youth is a resource.
First place means family. We're family here. First place was really like an opportunity for me to learn how to be a person, really.
I could even say it in one word. It just means hope. That's all it is.
First Place is a chosen family for young people, and a chosen family for new clinicians too, that have the authentic and genuine drive to change the foster care system and impact social justice in a way in which we provide services through the lens of a trauma-informed resiliency model for young people.
It's a stepping stone that, first and foremost, provides stable housing, something that most have not had the opportunity to have.
At First Place for Youth, we do a great job of helping people reach whatever goals it is they want to reach. When you're worried about where am I going to sleep tonight, what am I going to eat today, how can I go to the doctors, you don't have the time to be thinking about the future. You're focused on right now. We really just give them a space to be able to just explore all the different opportunities and work towards those goals.
I moved out of my foster mom's house when I was 20. I only had $200 in my pocket. I was homeless for 3 months. And yeah, Bridget really helped me. She showed me faith, you know? I had a lot of social workers. They didn't show me faith, you know? She stepped up to the plate and became my social worker. We set up a list of goals that we were doing. At the end, we completed all of them, you know? Paid off my school debt, got SSI, and went back to school.
With Israel, you know, he really had some challenges in programs that were not of his own making. And I focused on Israel, and I was like, we have bigger plans. I always tell my youth, too, this is a critical part of being a youth advocate. Their time with us is limited. Short time. This is one little tiny chapter in the book of Israel.
So I was Era's first YA at First Place. We actually met at Lamert for the first time. And Era presented very kind of shy to themselves, eager to kind of be a part of, like to have an opportunity to be independent, but not really sure how to do it. The biggest part of our trainings were around transportation and learning the new environment, how to get from point A to point B, how to take the public transportation system in LA. And I'm not from LA either, so I used to take the bus when I first moved, and so I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. We would either get on the bus together to go places, and it was fun. It was fun kind of teaching those basic things.
I remember being very nervous about a lot of things. One of them definitely being like transportation and stuff. I'm like, what if I get stranded? But yeah, it was definitely better with someone there to guide me and stuff, especially someone as cool as you.
I was in the foster care system for about a year after some family issues. Funny thing, if this place never would have took me in, I would probably been in the streets because I was living with my grandma at the time. And we had issues, but basically from there, one of my friends from high school, him and his mom took me in. And while the 1 month I was trying my best to get in here, I did it, and I finally got into this place, and it's like, I was happy. It was hope. It was basically the perseverance of trying on my just to last as long as I can to get into this, to get the help I need to get into school, to work, and to experience how to live on my own. Isaiah's been with me since the beginning, and I'm happy and thankful that he's been with me from the beginning.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
It's been a pleasure working with you too, man.
It sounds basic, but I think a lot of the work that we do is just helpful and helping youth to transition into self-sufficiency and helping them to even start to achieve milestones in their career path.
Danielle came to us from the probation department. We received a referral. There was a series of interviews.
Yeah.
Collaboratively, we made a decision to accept Danielle into our program. We have identified an apartment and identified her team. At that point in time, I was one of the direct people on her team in the youth advocate position.
And then we interviewed. Maria asked me 1,000,001 questions about 1,000,001 things. Some of this stuff was, the chapter you didn't want to read out loud. So it was interesting. And then the first day that we were moving into the apartment, I had kind of warmed up to her a bit more. She's helping me move into my first apartment. So you can't help but to, draw to someone that's there. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I'm thinking we were just going to move into the apartment. So I had like duffel bags of stuff. I'm like, okay, that's it. She's like, no, we have to go grocery shopping. You need a plunger. That, for some reason, she knew that I needed a plunger. She's like, the youth, they clog the toilets and they don't have a plunger. You need a plunger. So we went, and then we had Papa John's pizza. And she's like, I knew that you were lying in your interview about certain things. And I'm like, oh, thanks for the wings, It was a no judgment. It definitely felt like someone that was there to support me despite how I came into her doorstep.
When you think about family, for me, it is the idea that they're going to be there for you in some of the tougher times. And in my experience, that is what, we've done for each other as team members, but also to support our young people too as well. We've seen some of our young people at what they would describe as like their bottom, and being able to still be there to provide that support. That is, to me, a definition or a part of a definition of what family looks like. And then on the reverse of that, those people that are there cheering you on when you have those successes and those milestones and accomplishments. It's that varying level or the degree of issues to accomplishments and all that in between of support and guidance that First Place provides for not only the youth, but also team members.
We are here for each other. That comes through all the staff. And I think that kind of emanates from us to our youth. But yeah, I think it's First Place for family. Maybe in Israel's case, the first place they felt part of a family that gave them hope.
Not only is there that family connection between the staff and the youth, but also between the youth, especially between roommates. Families go through ups and downs. Families get a little sick of each other every once in a while, but ultimately what we try to teach these youth is that no matter what happens, we're still going to be there for you. And just providing that kind of unconditional support that a lot of them maybe have not had before.
I understand that a lot of people in this program go through a lot of hardships, and just knowing that someone's right behind you is like the greatest feeling ever.
One of the ways that it definitely has always felt like family is that they didn't do away with me when I made those mistakes. They allowed me the space to make those mistakes. They definitely allowed me the space to own those mistakes and then move forward from them. It was never an end-all be-all. Well, you did this and this is it. And it allowed you to feel cared for, that people truly want, your best interest. And I think that's where the family aspect is definitely important. Even if you're not in social services, you know a foster youth story. Look at half the Disney movies that exist. There is a story that you've seen, heard about, read, since a young child about someone who grew up with no one. And that impacts us in a way. Prior to knowing what foster care is, it impacts us because if you weren't a product of a group home or the foster care system, you have seen what it looks like and it's touched you. And that doesn't take working in social services to understand the difference between young people who grow up with or without a family.
My studio was here, and I was just walking back and forth all the time. And I would see so many. I saw that they looked like they were 18 to 20 something, and they would always be in these cars, or they would always be in the park. And I'm kind of friendly, so I would talk and I would say, why are you here? Oh, I'm transitioning out of foster care. I was like, what is that? But I saw so many around here, so many. So I started doing a little research and I realized that this was a hub, actually. Didn't take much research. I mean, really, you dig, all you gotta do is scratch the surface and it's like a flood of information. If you look at it through an emotional lens, for me looking at it from the outside, I felt overwhelmed and sad, but then you get past that and you start to look at you hear the amazing successes and the amazing stories of people that have overcome. And you start to look for the strengths and you start to look for the positive things. But then I remember my own self. It wasn't like I was one of those people being a young, gay, black man in the local community. It's not like I had a lot of communal value. So I had to find the strength in myself. And so I kind of related to that a little bit, like, just because other people tell you don't have value, you have to find the value in yourself. First Place for Youth was telling them that they had value, and they were creating an architecture around these young people, and it touched something in me. First Place for Youth, they do the real work, and I find it the most important work that they do. I mean, it touches me, that's why I got a little teary-eyed. Because if people tell you you don't have value, who's gonna tell you have value? First Place tells them they have value. And that's very, very important.
What does the future hold?
Well, I'll get a job in the tech industry. Maybe work on some video games. That'll be cool. Before I came into program, I didn't really have a future, not any I could see. I can honestly say the future for me looks pretty bright, which is crazy.
I want to get my license. I want to get my LCSW, and then I want to continue working with inpatient psychiatric adults, which is new for me because my initial passion was working with foster youth and kids and all of that good stuff, and I have found my niche with adults. So yeah, it works.
What are you studying?
Social work. Throughout my whole 5-6 years in foster care, I've had a lot of bad experiences, good ones too. But even if it's one foster kid, I just want to change one life. It's been like a goal for me for 5 years to be a social worker. I chose to take that path, and yeah, I'm not regretting it.
What are some of the tools First Place has given that allows you to do your job more effectively?
What they gave me was support, and that was a major asset to me because I'm not gonna lie to you, every day I was thinking to myself, do I really want to do this? I want to get up off the bed. It's one of the hardest things to think about every day. Time management is not my strongest suit, but if I need to get the job done and I need something done, that's what I need. I'll do it. And them supporting me, just giving me the support, it was the thing that kept me going through.
I think when a lot of people hear foster youth, they feel like they're broken in some kind of way. I guess a lot of people say behavioral issues, and that can definitely be true. But what I've seen is that just because someone comes in with, behavioral issues, or they're yelling at you, they're not interacting with you, not returning your calls, doesn't mean that can't change.
In a perfect society, everyone would have equitable access to everything. The reality is that there is systemic racism and inequitable opportunity or lack thereof in every facet of our society. One of the populations that is severely underrepresented is foster youth. And those are the same people that, while they're in our program, I can tell you they're delivering your pizza, they're working at the post office, they're fixing your airplane at LAX. They're young people that we are connected with and we don't even know it.
I think support is essential to the human condition. It doesn't matter who, what, where, when, everyone needs support. And it cuts across socioeconomic status, cultural status, racial status. We're all human, and we all need support.
Hope, I feel like, is needed, and it's needed to feel like there is other options other than what you might just be faced with at the moment.
Hope is that glimmer that you continue to look forward to on good days and bad days.
You're cultivating a generation. You're investing into a generation. They come to our program with 18, 19 years of experiences. You cannot undo, you cannot change, but you can support the stop of the cycle.
First Place has seen me personally through a lot, and the team that we have in LA Nation, we've served First Place for a combined more than 40 years. And I think that says a lot to the dedication of the team that we have in Los Angeles. Our work is for the youth, but it's also for each other, because our why is what drives us, but the glue is what keeps us together. And that takes work every day. And I just want to share that with the agency and help other people reach that level too.
Although there are public dollars that are donated to agencies like us, there's a lot of work that has to be done on the back end to fund a program like First Place for Youth, where the private donations really make a big impact. It's not cookie cutter. Like, each young person comes with their own experiences and have their own ideas of who they want to be and how they want to accomplish it. Your help is needed so that we can continue to support our young people in the future for the fiscal years to come.
To the donors, thank you for making my life better, making this happen.
That's so sweet. I'm about to cry. Era.